And I got to tell you, I mean, out of all the millionaires that I've seen over the last 24 years, the majority of them really have made their money from not spending. You know, that they held, that they spent less than what they made.
That's right.
And the majority of millionaires were people that, you know,
it's not sexy.
They weren't making a huge amount above the standard of living,
right?
But they did not spend, they saved, and it's the marshmallow effect. They delayed gratification on things and saved.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. We got a kind of a fun one, I think. So on TikTok, Instagram, Shorts, whatever, I see this all over the place, and I don't know if it's just because I watched one of them. Now they're like, "Hey, you like this one? We'll give you all of them." But there is a video here. We'll play it. We'll play it now.
T-minus 15 seconds.
So basically, you watch the video. There's lots of these like this. There's all kinds of versions of this, but essentially, what they're trying to do is say, "Hey, look, you can hack the system. Did you not know? You can go get a business name legally, set up a entity, and then that business can get credit and can get money, and you can have 50,000, 100,000 more in your bank account within days or weeks. Like, why are you not doing this?" And I'm just like, when I see this, it's like, does this sound like a good idea to anybody? Like, this is basically the internet teaching people how to be fraudsters.
Yeah. An illusion. Now, I like the fact that at least people know that, I can open up a business. So if they're already selling something, then now they can do it legally very quickly. Okay. Yeah. At least they gave them, that for
part of the steps is true. You have to set
you're telling them,
up.
Hack the way to get a loan before you ever have a product is going to be a recipe. You're not going to be able to pay that back.
Yeah. You got money. That's great. It's like getting a credit card when you're 18 and you have no job.
And I mean, and when I see that, and I've seen over the years rackets of this kind of play out of even just opening an account. You have people, and we've had it where syndicates would go to like homeless shelters. Yeah. And they would get them to go around and open up bank accounts because, there's a ton of reasons why they're homeless, but
you're saying you've seen fraud that
this actually happened. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so they would go to a homeless shelter and they would get a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And, they're homeless. You would think, okay, they have no money, of course,
but got credit.
Doesn't mean they have bad credit. They may have no credit.
Right.
So then they know that they could easily get a bank account. Mm-hmm. And so then they get a quick bank account, get a card issued immediate right away, debit card. There's, no alerts, and they know which banks do not check, the check systems to see if they had, owe another bank money, for closing it out and still owing them $50 in fees or something. And get that card, put in $50, and then go swipe 3 times at the gas station and get $150 worth of gas, and they made $100.
Right.
So a couple hundred. They do that, and depending on which bank.
What's that wage that they just made?
Oh yeah, but they'll do that, or in some places, depending on the banks and their controls in the back end, they get a count. Wait till they're after a certain status, maybe months down the road. Mm-hmm. And then deposit fraudulent checks and withdraw it quicker before it comes back. Yeah. But yes, there is
still a lot of work.
The system. I mean, there's no way of hack system. And even if you are going and doing it ethically, if you've got a good product and you've got that, like, you're going to get a loans based on your historical.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah. It's like, I don't even think this is geared towards anybody who has a product to sell. I think this is more about just trying to get money in your bank account so you can act like a baller for 24 hours before you owe it all
That's
back.
what I get from that, and that's who they're targeting.
But if you are a business owner and, you have been this is a sort of a lure because, it's like, maybe I didn't know this is how this works. This is not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, also, you're like pulling business credit. No, they're pulling your own credit.
Yeah.
That's what counts. You got a business with no sales.
Right.
It's your credit, your social.
Yeah. It's not that you set up an EIN and a business name through Sunbiz or whatever it is.
You got it.
And then they give credit against that nobody's going to do that because they know they know you just started it. There's no credit. There's no way it's not credible.
Yes.
So they're pulling your personal credit. And yes, you could get away with a low score to go that route. But what do you end up with in this scenario? You end up with a lot of money, access to a lot of money that you're going to have to then pay back with high interest. That's not a great way to start.
No.
Even if you have a product that's viable, the market's proven, people have proven they're going to buy it.
If you can't get to the next level, then you should never borrow
just need to start
against it anyway.
Selling first. Then if you want to use finance, some different financial instruments to help scale, that's a different question. Still may not be the right path, but it's a different question than trying to hack the system to get money. Just getting access to money is, again, like an 18-year-old just because for a credit card. I remember when I was young, I didn't know anything and wasn't.
They were at the college campuses left and right. You sign up and get free T-shirts. So, half my clothes first year at Florida State were that way. Yeah.
I don't know how I got, being the entrepreneur that I am, I don't know how I got in touch with these companies, but they would ship me boxes, like huge boxes in my dorm room of T-shirts. And they gave me applications and I had clipboards. And I would go crash college campuses and get college kids to sign up because I got $3 every single time I just submit an application. Didn't have to be good.
I got American Express at 19 years old. Luckily they got lucky because I still have that same American Express account from 19. Yeah.
You're like legacy.
I know when they see that. Now it's like 23 years been a part of
it's
it.
Amazing.
But they lucked out because it was funny. They had available balances back then, no income, but it had a large available credit.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way. Like, oh wow, I have $1,000 that I could go spend on whatever I want. Like, I'm not going to not go spend it. And then I had to figure out, oh wait, I have to pay that.
Oh yeah.
How does that work?
And then wait a second, my minimum fee too.
I'm not making any money. Okay, this doesn't work. I mow a lot of yards.
And then now you got to go get the grants at school to cover your credit card debt. Yeah. I'm glad they cracked down a lot on college campuses and are doing that as much as they used to.
Yeah.
I would have thought that they probably had a significant amount of losses too during that time frame.
Yes. Yeah. These credit card companies make so much money that.
Yeah. On a side note, good friend, he went to, college university and one of his college roommates was, I forget where he's from, another country. And he just kept getting credit card applications. He had 5 of them raining up. And he's like, always buying everybody dinner. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I graduate, I'm leaving. What do I care? And it was like,
that credit score doesn't follow you to wherever.
Yeah, that guy had racked up like $40,000. Wow. And this is 20 years ago, $40,000 in credit card fees and was just ready to go back home in Europe. Amazing. Not much due diligence was done on that one. Yeah.
It would be good to know him.
Yeah. I'm going to have to. Yeah.
Another round.
He was the life of the party for sure. Yeah.
He bought his friends.
He did.
Using other people's money.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. I think, for anyone who's not clued into this and they see these things come, your first clue should be, this is on TikTok.
Yeah.
Clue number 1. It can't be that easy. If it looks too good to be true, it is.
And I got to tell you, out of all the millionaires that I've seen over the last 24 years, the majority of them really have made their money from not spending.
Yes.
That they held, that they spent less than what they made.
That's right.
And the majority of millionaires were people that,
it's not sexy.
They weren't making a huge amount above the standard of living,
right?
But they did not spend, they saved, and it's the marshmallow effect. They delayed gratification on things and saved.
Yeah. Lived in their means.
Yeah. Those are the ones that have the majority of the millionaires I've seen were that way.
Mm-hmm.
They were very frugal.
And you don't see those on TikTok. See, that's the conundrum is that young people or newbie entrepreneurs, business owners, what they see when they scroll is what's been put in front of them, and that's all the sexy bravado. And so you start to naturally think that that's the way.
No, they saved, they put it in a brokerage account.
All the people who are not on there, they're the ones that actually have true wisdom.
Yeah. And then for every person that you thought got rich quick, they didn't. They've been spending 15, 20 years working on it.
Yeah, it took forever.
Yeah. And too, that I'm always saying, if you're making so much money on your program, then why are you selling your program too? I mean, I always look at that
every single time.
And majority of the real estate people out there is just complete garbage.
Yeah.
They want you to, tie up somebody in their house and resell their contract. Well, what you're kind of doing? You're kind of preying on people that, didn't know the value of their house.
Yeah.
You're doing that. So, a lot of those things too, you're on the unethical side. And if you want to live with that, great.
Yes.
Great. You got in there and you got that person and you got them the contract right away with them. And then you resold that contract for $10,000 and you move over. But, you got to think about it. You screwed that person over.
Yeah.
To do that. And that's what I've seen a lot of, especially the real estate one, sell, flip house. You go to an investor and, that's why they do that.
I think from a marketer standpoint, I can dispel all those people that just seem so good to be true. They really are, that they speak about how they made hundreds of thousands of dollars a month doing X and they made all this money. Well, what you have to understand is they're marketing that subject matter to you, and you are a different audience than the people that are proclaiming that they made money from.
Yes.
So they just built a business, quote unquote, and made all this money with a completely different audience with a completely different service or product. Now, what they're saying is they're going to tell you how to do it. They're now having to start a new business to find you, this new audience, and convince you, this whole new group of people, not the same people. It would be more convincing for me if they were to said, target audience A, we sold them a bunch of stuff, and now we're going to teach them how to sell the stuff, like a Ponzi scheme or like a multi-level. That's more convincing because at least you're going after the same people that already know you, and would make sense. Well, I already have this audience. I can leverage it and sell this course.
Now, are there any influencers off the top of your head that you think are being honest and have good content in regards to, I don't know about that kind of sales process for selling the package, but
I can't think of individual people, but there are people who are doing well, and they're selling courses and workshops or webinars, whatever they're selling.
Yeah, because there are plenty of courses and web shops that are pretty good.
They're good, but they are going to an audience that is maps to what they're doing. So it's legitimate that if you look at the portfolio of what they're doing, it maps. It's not just, hey, I made all this money and I'm some wonder kid, and I'm going to basically, that's my message, is I'm a wonder kid.
Yeah.
And so that you're going to buy into this fake program. I mean, people have to remember that there's fraudsters out there still. There always have been. Snake oil salesmen back in the day. Yes. Now it's, TikTok, course sellers, and they make up all they just make all this stuff up.
You got more fitness influencers than you ever seen in your life. And
but the right now I could think of something for a specific target audience and just think, oh yeah, they really want this. Okay. I can just make the whole thing up. Just make it all up. Use ChatGPT to help me make the whole thing
program,
up. And then put it together and just say all this BS nonsense. People would buy it.
But then again, I'm like both sides. I don't fault that person for doing that. Now that everybody fell for it. But you got to live with yourself if you're creating content you don't believe in.
Yeah. Well, and that is, you don't believe in is one thing, but it being completely false is another thing. I mean, they are creating their own coffin because their reward is the amount of money they make off of that group of people. That's it.
I mean, they're
not building a business.
You better make enough money to last you the rest of your life, because nobody's going to believe you after that.
And it won't, because they're the type of person that will spend it on bravado.
Correct.
So it's like, when you see it, it's like, this is just this happening again, but if you haven't seen it before, you can be like, oh man, there's something I didn't know that this is how it works. Like, no, it's not how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I'll try to do some more of these.
All right. Good.
So.